welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you are very welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your loyalty. In today's video, I just want to first of all give you guys a big thank you for always supporting my channel, liking my videos, and sharing my content with your friends and family. So thank you so much to everyone who's constantly supporting me. So in today's video, I'll be doing a story time with you guys about my horror story from couchsurfing. And before I even get into it, let me just explain like the key details of this story time so that you guys don't get confused and so that you actually understand why things happened the way they did, right? So fast forward, or actually rewinding back to the beginning of this year. I used to live in Malaysia, and basically a girl had requested to stay with me. And for me, I usually host couples and females. And since she was a female, I had no problem hosting her. However, I did indicate that I'm a very busy person and I don't have time to stay with you all the time. So unless you're a very independent traveler, then I wouldn't recommend that you stay with me. So she told me that she was okay with that and she had no problem with that. However, I think she was struggling to find my place, or for whatever reason, she asked me to pick her up, which I had no problem with. So my friend and I went to pick her up by the car, or with a car, and we came back to my apartment. She dropped off her clothes and then we took her out to the lake. After the lake, we actually took her out for dinner because it was already late, and we paid for her meal. I need to emphasize on that, you guys, for a reason, because people usually, they'll say all kinds of things, but they will never gossip about the way you help them. They'll only gossip about every other thing, right? So the other encounter I had with her was a day I had taken off. I think I was off from work, but I still had other things to do. But that day, particularly during lunchtime, I was wondering, like, why hasn't she eaten yet? Like, I mean, it's kind of late already. So I offered to take her out for lunch, and I paid for her lunch. And it was also just a way of bonding, right? Right. So the third encounter was when she was calling me frantically in the morning because she didn't know how to leave, or she was struggling with a taxi, or whatever the reason was. So I left my workplace and I came to pick her up, and I dropped her off at the bus station again, right? So that's how it went. Overall, she was really like, aside from the fact like she was smoking a lot, and I don't smoke, and it was kind of like, just even my friend was like complaining like, yo, this person smokes a lot, like please don't let them smoke in your apartment and stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool, no problem, I'll let them know to smoke outside and stuff. So obviously the furnitures and everything doesn't end up smelling of smoke. So I told her like, I understand like you smoke, but please do not smoke in the apartment. Please just smoke outside. We've got a very nice like outside area and nice facilities where you can actually sit and smoke if that's what you want to do. So cool. So we've only had 3 encounters. Generally, I think she was chilled and everything, but I don't know, like, I don't really judge people. Like, I'm not that kind of person who's fast to judge people. So whatever you are, whoever you are, I don't think like I'll really have a problem with it, unless like what you are is very extreme, all right, to the eye or to the ear or to just, you know. But if not, then I really generally don't have a problem with anyone. So yeah, okay. So now I was in Norway, right? And the next day, because I had stayed in Norway for 4 weeks, the next day I was supposed to go to Poland, and I already had my ticket booked, okay? Now, I usually don't post on Facebook that much. For some reason, I just keep forgetting that I have Facebook. So, but then I have a lot of my relatives on Facebook. So obviously, I like to keep them updated like once in a while. What am I? Am I safe? Like, you know, and I know like I have some aunties who like really take me as their daughter, and they really care about me, and they always want to know like if I'm okay and stuff. So sometimes it helps that I post. So that day, like before I went to, or I was supposed to go to Poland the next day, that evening I posted on Facebook, you know, because I was just like reminiscing on everything in my stay in Norway and how lovely it was. So I actually posted a picture, and then the girl that I hosted, okay, let's give her a name. Her name will be Mickey Mouse. Let's give her a name, Mickey Mouse. So Mickey Mouse saw this post, and she texted me on Facebook, and she's like, oh my God, babe, you are in Europe. Why didn't you tell me? Please come visit me, blah, 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 blah. I really miss you and stuff. And I'm like, oh, hey, Mickey Mouse, I miss you too. Yeah, I'm actually in Europe, but I'm going to Poland tomorrow. And she's like, no, forget about Poland. Please come to Germany. And da, da, da. Now, I had actually not wanted to go to Germany from the beginning. Let's make that clear. The only reason I wanted to go to Germany was actually to see my close friend Pia. But I was doubting whether after I'm done like with my whole travel, if I'll still have time to go to Germany, but I was basically keeping that for last because of the way my itinerary was set, right? So this girl keeps texting me and she's like, no, Poland is probably going to be boring. I really miss you and stuff. And da 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 da. And then she's like, oh, send me your WhatsApp. Let's talk on WhatsApp. And then we were talking on WhatsApp, right? And then I realized this is also another red flag. She was talking a lot. And I actually couldn't tell, like, is she drunk or is she like being for real? And then I thought, okay, this girl is generally very energetic, so she might just like be for real. So I'm like, okay, cool, never mind. I'm obviously just, this is going to be my second country, so I'm kind of flexible, you know. So I decided to book a ticket to Germany. And this is where I messed things up because, first of all, guys, I have this rule and this thing that guides me. I would almost say like it's something that has guided me for the longest time, ever since I was like 20. In every second that something feels wrong, it's wrong. And most of the time, if you need to change your plans because of someone, I don't know about you guys, I usually end up regretting it. So these are the two things. If even for a moment I feel like something is wrong, it's definitely wrong. And that's when I just need to either run or step back or block the person or just move on with my life and ignore them. So that day, this thought actually came back to me because I've been using this for years. And I thought, am I just exaggerating, you guys? And that's when I knew like something must be wrong. And so, all right. So I booked a flight to Germany. So we met in Hamburg. And when we met, everything was like cool, you know, just like, oh, hey, 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 how was Malaysia? How was Namibia and stuff? And like, okay. And then she told me, like, we had to sleep in the car. And I was like, oh, hell no. I did not just resign from my job to sleep in a car. I did not just resign from my job to put myself in dangerous situations. I did not just resign from my job to suffer. Like, I'm not that kind of traveler. Like, I know some people are like, oh, it's cool and whatever. But for me, when I travel, like, yes, I'm not going to stay in a 5-star hotel, but at least even just a hostel at the bare minimum. And I'm going to make sure, like, I'm safe at all times. But sleeping in a car for me, honey, was just off. It was off. Like, it was not in my plans. So I'm like, really? And I didn't want to, like, sound like I am, like, against her plan, her amazing plan. So it's just like, okay. And like, I was like texting my boyfriend and I'm like, babe, do you know what? This girl saying like, we need to sleep in the car and stuff. Like, I don't feel safe now and stuff. And my boyfriend is texting me. He's like, yeah, but then why didn't you sleep in the car? Why don't you just go to the hostel or something? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, babe, I don't know. I don't want to disappoint her. Like, I don't want her to feel bad or to think like, yeah, I'm better than her, that I can't sleep in a car and stuff. And then, okay, fine. We slept in the car. This must have been the most uncomfortable sleep of my life. Like, my back was in pain. I didn't feel safe. I was constantly worried and stuff. And right, so the first night, this girl made a noise the whole time. Like, she was like talking to herself. She was crying while I was sleeping next to her. And I was like, what is going on? And then like she kept talking to herself. And I was like, oh my God, this is already like, this is it for me. Like, I am annoyed. I am annoyed because like I hate, anyone that knows me like knows how much I hate noise, especially when it's time to sleep. And my best friends used to tell me like whenever we had sleepovers that they don't understand how it is that I can just sleep off like that. I'm like, I don't know, you guys. If I can solve a problem during the day, what makes me think I'll be able to solve it when I'm sleepy? So when it's time to sleep, I just sleep. I literally don't even think of anything. So she was making a noise the whole time and she was talking to herself, she was crying, she was drinking. This girl literally drank 2 whole bottles of wine in one night. And she kept on going to pee. So you can imagine the car door kept on banging. So I didn't sleep the whole night, and I didn't sleep for the next like 2 days that we had slept in the car. And I was like busy updating my friends and my family, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys, this is what's happening and stuff. And I'm like telling my mom like, this is what is happening. I don't know what's wrong with this girl. I didn't know she was a drunkard and stuff. And now I'm in this situation. And remember, I don't drink alcohol, so this is like really, really bad for me. And I'm like, I didn't know she was a drunkard. When she came to my place, like, I didn't see that side of her and stuff. And then my mom is like, yeah, just chill, cool down and stuff. Hopefully everything will be okay. If not, just leave and stuff. So, all right. Then she decides we're going to a town called Regensburg. So we went to, no, we went to Luneburg first. Went to Luneburg, spent a day there. And then she decided that she wanted to go to her hometown, which is in Regensburg. Now, this is where all hell broke loose, honey. First things first, when you go to her apartment, she kept on like bragging about, oh, I have the nicest apartment. My apartment is so nice. Oh, my apartment this, my apartment that, my apartment that, my apartment. And I'm like, people forget that just because you don't talk about the things that you own or even properties that you own, like they think you probably own nothing. And mind you, she is renting this place. There's nothing wrong with renting. It just becomes like so crazily absurd when you keep on like bragging about where you stay and how nice your place is. I think I should be the one to compliment your place if I think it's nice. But in her case, she felt she had to talk about her apartment the whole time. And I'm like, it wasn't even all that. But anyhow, who am I? I don't really want to be like that judgmental person, but it's just what it is. So we get to a place, and every single day, like for the first 2 days, like she made a noise till like 4 a.m, playing loud music, talking to herself, getting drunk. Like all she did was drink, 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 and drink. So on the second day, while I was at her place, what happened is like she was like, because I was like, no, let me just take the couch. I'd rather not sleep in your bedroom and stuff. And then she was like, no, you're not my guest, you're my friend. You need to sleep on the bed with me and stuff. The bed is so big, it's enough for all of us. And I'm like, okay, you know. And then fine, I went to bed first because obviously she was still busy drinking and making a noise. And then she came to the bedroom and slept. And I swear to God, this must have been 4 a.m. when I smelled something. And I have very good senses. If you've ever stayed with me, like you can ask my family, if anything moves in our house, I will be the first to hear it. If anyone speaks at night, I'll be the first to notice that something is moving in this house or there's noise in this house, because my senses are just that sharp. If I leave my door open and you sneak into my room tiptoeing like my brother always does, he knows I'll hear him. And he's always like, I didn't even make a noise. And I'm like, but I can feel your presence. So that's how strong my senses are. So yeah, cool. So that evening, I smelled something and I was like, what is it? And then literally I felt next to me and the bed was wet. Yeah, you guys will not believe this. My host literally peed in bed. Like the whole bed was wet. Now, I just stood up, and I couldn't sleep anymore. I just went to the living room and I started texting my family and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is what happened and stuff. This girl literally just peed in the bed and stuff. And I'm texting my boyfriend and I'm like, hey, babe, can you believe this girl literally, you know how it is when you're talking to your partner. Like the story is so juicy. And this girl literally peed in the bed. She's a complete drunkard. Like, I don't know what to do right now. My partner's like, you need to leave that cockroach house. And then, cool. She wakes up and there's this awkward silence. And then she's like, oh, hey, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, I'm cool. I just think you need to wash the blankets because she's like, why? And I'm like, no, because obviously you must have wet the bed last night. And she's like, really? No, I don't think so. And mind you, right? She had taken off her pajamas and her pajamas is drenching wet with pee and it's hanging there. So obviously she knows that she peed in bed. She's just like shy or ashamed to look me in the eye and say it. And then later on, she went to wash the blankets. I swear this girl, she has like a weird character. I don't know what is it called when a person like has different characters like throughout the day. So later on, she comes back and she's like, baby, you know what? The blankets are washed, so there's nothing to worry about anymore. And I'm like, okay, right. So that day, I'm like, okay, I'm not having this. And so on that day, she's like, okay, apparently we need to go to a concert. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's your idea, not mine. And I'm like, no, I think I'll just stay at home and I'll do some stuff because I'm getting ready now to leave and go somewhere else. And she's like, no, we should go to the concert. And then, okay, fine. We went to the concert that she was talking about. Oh, it wasn't a concert. It was actually kind of like, what do you call it, huh? Like, you know, like a merry-go-round that we have in Namibia? Festival. Festival? I think it's I don't know what to call it, you guys. It's like a merry-go-round, right? We've got all this swings and all kinds of thing going on. So let's call it a festival, right? So we go there, and then after that, she said she wanted to go to another party to dance salsa. It was a salsa party. And then because she drinks, like I was buying her beer and stuff, and you guys need to see how fake she was when I was buying her beer. She was like, oh my God, you're the best. I love you. I was like, okay. And the only reason I was doing that, let me clarify, is because every time we're in the car, she kept on talking about her ex-friend or her friend. She's like, her friend never buys her things. She doesn't like people who stay with her and don't buy her things and da 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 da. And I'm like thinking, bruh, you are crazy. I would never expect people to buy me anything, especially if you're my guest. But it doesn't really matter. For me, if I'm your guest and you want me to buy stuff, considering that you called me, and mind you, I paid 156 euros for my ticket because it was a late book ticket, right? If you call me to your house and you expect me to buy things, I'll buy them, but that will be the last time you see me because I would rather buy things without you asking me. But if you, and that's exactly why I don't like staying with people. Like, I have not stayed with people for years. Let me just say, like, I've not stayed with people at all since growing up, being a teenager, going through varsity. I'm not staying with people. So this must be the first idiot. She's actually the first idiot that I've stayed with as a grown-up, or even like my entire life. She's the only person that I've actually stayed with. Other than that, I've obviously had sleepovers with my best friend Zuli, but like Zuli and I, we were like the best of best friends. Like, she'd sleep over, I'd sleep over, because we were just like, we were studying and sometimes we get bored and lonely. So we're always together, you know? Aside from Zuli, I've not stayed with people. Yeah, I've not stayed with people, except like my other best friend Tasneem, because like I was about to leave Malaysia and her dad told me like, you're not going to rent another place for a month when we have a place for you to stay. That's it. Other than that, I've not stayed with people because it's just not my kind of thing. So this girl is the first person that I've actually stayed with that I barely even knew. And it was my biggest regret, you guys. So now coming back from the story, right? Getting back to the story, that's the only reason why I made effort like to buy her dinner, buy her beers and stuff, because I knew like she's just the kind of person who like, and this girl is literally always picking plastic bottles to like send them at the shop so that she can get money in return. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna buy you what you need. Because obviously, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like you need stuff and you need people to buy you stuff. So that's what I was doing. And then when we came back, right, I went to bed because I was so tired. And this girl kept on like at the party, like she stayed until the party literally ended. Me, I was tired. I was just sitting there and I was like so bored. And then the next morning, she came to me and she was like, Rauha, why didn't you say thank you to me that I brought you home safe last night? And I'm like, sorry? Yeah, why didn't you say thank you to me? And I'm like, just because I didn't say thank you to you, it doesn't mean I'm not thankful. Like, I've literally been thankful to you. I've literally said thank you to you before. And it doesn't mean that if I leave your house, I'm not going to say thank you. Do you expect people like to say thank you to you after every little thing you do for them? Like, make it make sense. And I even told her, like, when you're at my house, I never treated you that way. I don't even care if you say thank you to me or you don't say thank you. I know you're thankful, obviously. And eventually, when you leave my house, I'm very sure as a well-mannered person, you're going to say thank you. And she's like, no, but you're supposed to say thank you because I drove you home safely. And I'm like, hey. Hello. The German colony is over. So if you're still a colonizer, it's not me. You've literally got the wrong person. That's what I told her. Like, I told her, like, colonization is over and you are not going to talk to me that way. And then she's like, and then she's like talking a lot. And I'm like, and I decided, you know what? This is actually the perfect time for me to leave her house. So I tell her like, oh, okay, you want to talk about shit that people do? Let's start with your shit. First of all, ever since I came to your house and ever since I met you, I have not closed my eyes for a minute because you're always making a noise. If it's not your music, it's you talking to yourself or you crying about men and how lonely you are. And now I really understand like why nobody wants to stay with you. And second, aside from not sleeping and you making a noise all the time, let's talk about the day you peed in bed next to me. How do you think? How do you think I'm supposed to feel as your guest? Like, are you not ashamed of yourself or something? And she's like, yeah, don't talk to me like that. I'm 36. I'm like, yeah, you're 36 and you still pee in bed. Like, make it make sense. And then I think like she got like ashamed and stuff. And then she came and she actually held my arm like this. And she's like, yeah, 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 yeah. I couldn't even hear what she was saying, you guys. Because for me, when someone is shouting, I can't hear them. Like, I literally can't hear them. Because I've just not really grown up around that kind of shouting. My dad doesn't shout at all. I've never heard my dad shouting. And my mom, like, she can shout, but like for the most part, my mom is a very like peaceful person. She's just like, she loves being in her own lane and minding her own business. So this girl literally held me and she was like shouting and shouting. And then that's when I told her, like, you need to move. Because if you don't move, I'm going to slap you. I am not the person, like, if that's how you treat your friends, let me make it clear to you, I am not your friend. I don't even know you. And if you think like I'm in your house because like I have no choice, I literally told you Honor to go to the hostel from the beginning. And right now, I want you to know I am not depending on you for anything. Like, for crying out loud, I am not a cheap traveler like you are. I can go and I can do and I can stay wherever I want to stay. You know? It was very rude for me to obviously talk to her that way, but I feel like sometimes people just push you and they push you and they push you and they push you. So I had to let her know, like, honey, I am not your friend. And if that's how you and your friends talk to each other, that is not how you're going to talk to me. You're going to respect me whether you like it or not. So please move, and I'm going to take my things and I'm going to leave right now. So she moved, and then I started packing my stuff and did my stuff and so I did my stuff. And then I finished packing and then I left, right? And then after that, she was like texting me on WhatsApp. I was not even reading it because like I archived her text, and she was like, oh, and then I blocked her on Facebook, but I forgot to block her on WhatsApp. So she was like, I saw one of her texts, like, you know, when you like check a message, but you didn't open the entire message. She was like, oh, so you blocked me on Facebook. And then like, I don't know what else she sent to me, but like I had my disappearing messages on. So the next day, all her messages disappeared and I didn't even like see whatever she sent me. And that's exactly why, like, for me, if you do something to me or like if I don't like you no more, I'm never going to read your messages. Like, I'm just not that curious. Like, I've never been a nosy person. So if someone is saying something and I'm not interested, I won't even bother looking at it. I'm like, there's so many people that I've had, like, let's say if I had a disagreement with a person and they're like sending me stuff, like one of my bosses did that to me. Like, she sent me like over 30 messages. And I'm telling you, I literally just like did this and I deleted. Because I just feel like you don't need that negativity, because like I'm not working with you anymore. We both understand why we're not working together anymore. So why are you texting me all of this? Just for me to like read your nasty words and go and cry about it or like think about it the whole day. I am not doing that to myself. Guys, there are certain messages that are just not for you. And if people are sending them to you, just delete. Like, don't even waste your time reading them. And that's exactly what I did to her, right? So yeah, so that's basically what happened. Like, she kept on texting me and I just like archived her messages till they disappeared by themselves. And that was basically my horror story. Like, just my host being a complete drunkard, never sleeping. She never sleeps. I didn't even know whether, because she did mention like she takes weed and stuff, but then I don't know what else she takes. But looking at like the whole situation, this girl is either bipolar or she's on drugs or she's just a complete drunkard that she's out of control or she's having a midlife crisis. I really, really don't know what's the problem, because half the time when she's like talking, I'm not even listening because she just talks too much. And her like peeing in bed next to me, that was like it. So I left her place and then I took a walk to KFC with my bag. And while I was at KFC, like I was like searching for my accommodation and stuff like that. Then I found a place to stay. I actually ended up staying for a night with another couch surfing host, and they were a couple, and based on the reviews, they were really nice. So having stayed with them like gave me time to not find a hostel where I could stay. So Flo and the girlfriend were really, really nice. Like, it was just, when I told them the story, they were like shocked. They were like, this is not normal. This is not normal. So yeah, basically I stayed over for a day, and there was another girl as well that they were hosting, she was from Italy. She was also really, really nice. So the whole stay was just so calming and relaxing, and I had time to like, you know, do some work on my computer. And then after staying with them, and then found a hostel, and at the hostel I was really, really happy. Like, I met really nice people, and we went touring together and stuff. And then yeah, the rest of my German stay was actually really, really nice and better than I expected. Moving forward, I'm definitely just sticking to what I know. One, never change your plans for anyone. If you were already going to do something, go and do it. And two, if in that moment, even for a single second, if something feels wrong, it is wrong. There's something. So either don't do it, just don't do it, don't do it. Abort mission completely. So this is what has protected me for years, and I just feel like it works for me. It works for me. If something feels wrong, I'm out. In that split second, when you're doubting something, just don't do it. Right? So that was my horror story, and I've definitely learned, like, I'm not going to like forgo my 2 golden rules that I've kept for years, because every time I do, I just end up like regretting it. And I just realized that I hate staying with people. Aside from my family and maybe someone like I'm dating, you know, I don't like staying with people. I don't like staying with people. It's something that I've not done in my life. And I love hosting. I love hosting people. Like, I'm a family person. And everyone that has actually stayed with me will tell you the same thing. Like, I love hosting people, and I love having people over. And I want them to be happy, you know. I want them to be happy. I want them to have their good night's sleep, good night rest. I don't make a noise for my guests and stuff like that. And I just try to like make life really comfortable for them, you know. So yeah, generally, I've also learned that a lot of people are good guests, but they're not good hosts. And there's a difference, because when you are a guest, you, especially travelers, I've seen that a lot of travelers, especially these ones that are like cheapskates, they will be nice to you because they need a place to stay. And that's very easy, because when you need help, it's easy to be nice. But when you are giving help to someone, are you really going to be a nice person? Because some of these travelers, yeah, they have stayed with so many hosts and they have so many positive reviews, but that's because some of them just need help. So they have no choice but to be nice. But they don't even host people. And maybe if they hosted people, it will be the reverse. They might not even like be good hosts. So for me, like I said, there's always a difference between being a host and being a guest. Just because you're a good guest, it doesn't mean you're a good host. And just because you're a good host, it doesn't mean you're a good guest. So we need to know the difference and just pray for discernment to differentiate between what's reality and what's an illusion. So that's all for today, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments, you guys. Have you guys ever had a bad experience as a guest at someone's house? Or have you guys ever had a terrible guest when you hosted them? Let me know in the comments, you guys. And that's all for today. Hope you guys liked this video. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao!